I hope your day is full of craps and roulette and poker and tall frozen beverages and slot machines and dice. You gotta have dice. And bright lights. Guys, it's a fucking Vegas intro. That's right, my little Shankstas. I am joining you on this fine Wednesday for another episode of your favorite podcast, Shank. Hell yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. I just got back from Skankfest. My voice is fucked. I had the best weekend of my life. If you came up to me and said hi, thank you so much for coming up to me and saying hi. I love meeting all of you. I love taking pictures with all of you. I love signing things for you. I can't tell you how great it is to meet you guys in person and to put a face with the people who are listening to the podcasts. So thank you if you're a honey. Thank you if you're a Shanksta. I loved meeting you at Skankfest. It was literally the best weekend of my life. I have no voice and I'm so sore. But I'm not going to let you guys down. I'm going to do one last solo pod, and then next week we should go back to having guests. Okay, my little Shankstas, I want you to do something right now. I want you to look down at your feet. Are you wearing socks? If you're not wearing socks, you're disgusting. You're a pig. You need socks, honey. It's 2022. The only thing that's for sure is that you're always going to need socks. The world could end tomorrow. Get some socks today. Get some colorful, bright socks. Socks that show what an individual you are. Socks that say socks that say I'm a fucking fun bitch. A bitch could be a man or a woman. Get some socks that say, hey, I love you. I was just thinking about you. Give them to your girlfriend. Give them to your mom. Give them to your mother-in-law. Give them to an ex as an olive branch. Go on to ohyeah.com. That's 3 O's HYEAH.com. Discount code Sara10 SARA10 for 10% off unique sock designs. Oh yeah. Guys, whether you're into the Brady Bunch or Aliens or Bob Ross or Mr. Rogers, there's a pair of socks for you. They also have weed-themed socks, mushroom-themed socks. If you're a bitch who likes birds, there's bird socks. Whatever you're into, there's a pair of socks for you, and they make amazing gifts. And Oh Yeah Socks has been supporting this podcast for so long, so go give them some love. They're the original Shank sponsor. They have been really consistent with sponsoring me and showing me love, and I'd like for you guys to do the same. Go follow them, ohyeah.com. That's 3 O's HYEAH.com. And that's on Instagram at Instagram, oh yeah, or head to their website at ohyeah.com, 3 O's HYEAH.com, discount code SARA10. All right, let's get into it, my little babies. So Friday, I have a show. It's in LA somewhere. I'll post about that on my Instagram at Princess Shank on Instagram, Twitter as well. Saturday, I will be at the Nightcap in Burbank, California. We got 2 shows that night, one at 8 and one at 10. I'm doing both. And then Sunday, I will be at the Melrose Improv. I am judging a roast battle at the Hollywood Improv. I forgot what it's called off the top of my head, but more information of that at Princess Shank. And again, I am coming to Austin, Texas. That's right. If you're a Shanksta or a honey, save the date. Kim Congdon and I will be there January 7th, I believe. We're doing not only a stand-up show with the both of us headlining, but also a live podcast. So if you're a honey and you're in the Austin area and you haven't seen our podcast live yet, I recommend you coming. It's literally the best time. We do so many different fun things that we don't do at our regular on our regular podcast. We try to make it extra special for all the honeys. Also, if you came out while I was in New York, thank you so much. I had so much fun in New York. I did Barstool. That's going to come out soon. Look out for that. I did Legion of Skanks podcast. That, I believe, already came out, so look out for that. And then Kim Congdon and I had the best time on the Guys We Fucked podcast with Corinne Fisher and Christina Hutchinson. So if you're into any of that, go check out those podcasts. Another highlight for me from Skankfest was I got to do Kill Tony. And the guest was the great, powerful Dave Attell. So that my dreams were fulfilled this weekend. I got to perform a minute in front of David Tell and get to see all of the original Kill Tony fans. Also, I believe Kim Congdon and Ali Makovsky also recorded an episode that you guys will see in the future. I'm so excited about everything that happened at Skankfest. I had some of the most amazing sets. Thank you if you came out to see me do stand-up. Yes, I did miss KimFest. Kim had her own little special portion of the festival called KimFest, and that took place on Friday afternoon. But I am so sorry I missed it. I have been traveling, touring. I am fucking exhausted. I set an alarm, but I had a blackout curtain at my hotel. And let me tell you, one thing about me is that I love a blackout curtain. The blackout curtain took your girl, and I didn't make it to KimFest, but I made up for it by doing a few extra sets. I did the Kill Tony set and then 2 sets on Sunday, and I also had a set on Saturday. So if you saw me and you had fun, thank you for supporting live comedy. I love to see you guys doing so. And I love taking pictures and signing things for you. And I can't tell you how appreciative I am to meet all of you guys. More tour dates coming soon. Maybe Arizona. I'm thinking about Arizona. Definitely Texas. And I might be back in New York in November. So just keep an eye out because your girl's coming through. And now I got some questions and some topics to cover. Here we go. Skankfest. Should we start with that? What were the highlights? Crowd surfing at Skankfest was definitely a highlight. I did it 2 nights in a row. I will say I don't know if I will be crowd surfing next year because a bitch is sore. You guys, I walked about 8 miles every day for the last 2 weeks with the combination of being in New York and then also doing Skankfest at Vegas. So crowd surfing pushed me over the edge. I woke up with a stiff neck, but I did have the time of my life. I'm like, I have to crowd surf while I still can, you know, for the memories, baby. Another highlight of the festival for me was obviously seeing the great, the powerful Tim Dillon walking by. It was so cool to see him. Whitney Cummings stopped by. That was cool. Tony and Redband, of course. All the little Legion of Skanks guys, the guys we fucked girls. I mean, Annie Lederman. I got to hang out with mommy, Kim Congdon. We just it felt like summer camp, and leaving was so sad, but it had to happen because everyone's fucking dead and tired. And if you were a fan and you gambled with me, that was also fun. I love the slot machines. I don't know what that says about me. I feel like if you like the slot machines, there's obviously something wrong with you. Like, am I a little bit childlike? Yes. Do I get excited by bright lights and loud sounds? Yes. I think I'm going to win the big jackpot every time I sit down and do max bet. If you do max bet at the slot machines, you can watch your money dwindle in no time. It just goes from $100 to $20 in literally the blink of an eye. Okay, one of the scariest parts of Skankfest for me was that when I was on stage during the goddamn comedy jam, and this man, I don't know who he was, he comes up on stage with a backpack that lights up, which is already a red flag. Like a 50-something-year-old man with a backpack and sunglasses on at night, and the backpack was lighting up, so I was trying to get away from him because he was on the stage at the same time I was on the stage, and then out of nowhere, he pulls out like this scary doll puppet that looked like... It was giving like Courtney Love after a long night, the puppet. That was the vibe of the puppet. And he starts like moving this puppet next to me while Nirvana's playing. And it's for sure a core memory that's locked in my brain for forever that I will never forget. I'll see if I can put a clip of what I'm talking about. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can find the video. But if I can, here it is. Okay, so that was the puppet video. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep getting into more things. I realized that I do have the name Princess in my Instagram handle, which is something I think I need to address. Yes, I'm a princess. Yes, I'm a Jap. I'm a Jewish American princess. I am the Jewish princess of Skankfest. That's what Ian Finance was calling me. However, my question is this. Is there a greater red flag than a 35-year-old woman who has princess in their Instagram handle? Probably not. That's all. I just want to let you guys know I'm a self-aware queen. So yes, I get that it's ridiculous to have princess in your handle, but I really appreciate you guys still listening to the podcast and supporting me. What else? Food pushers. Okay, we got to talk about something. It's called food pushers. I don't know if you guys grew up with a food pusher family. Luckily, I didn't, because if my family was pushing me to eat food I didn't want to eat, I don't think I would currently be talking to them. Pushing food on someone is like, there is truly nothing worse than what I call food rape, where you're at a dinner, you're eating, the host comes and says, oh my God, you didn't try the spaghetti bolognese. And you're like, bitch, I'm full. But you don't want to say, bitch, I'm full, because you're dining in someone else's home. So you can't shoot down the fact that they made you food and they're just trying to give you sustenance out of an act of love. So it's a fine line, but food pushers are just too much for me. I dated someone whose parents would push so much food on me. When they turned around, I would scoop my plate into the trash can, because if they catch you, if a food pusher catches you getting rid of food, they go into cardiac arrest. Nothing a food pusher loves more than fattening up a friend, making sure that they're fulfilled food-wise. And I know for a fact I'm never going to be a food pusher, because, listen, I know when I'm full. I've been alive for 35 years. If I don't feel like eating, it's because I'm full, okay? Don't force me to eat a pie after I already ate turkey stuffing and mashed potatoes. This is a actual warning for the Thanksgiving season. Be generous. It's nice to be generous. It's nice to share your things with people. It's nice to feed others if you can afford to do so. But don't push food. Food pushers, there's something wrong with them. It's nice to offer people food, but to continue to jam it down someone's fucking face and be like, eat this now, there's something off with you. Okay, so don't push food. I remember as a kid, I used to go over to my neighbor's house and they would push food on me, and they would not only push food on me, but they would push milk on me. And there's nothing worse than a glass of milk if you're someone who doesn't like milk. The only time it really makes sense to have a glass of milk is if you're a literal child or you ate something spicy and you need a vacation for your mouth. Besides that, milk as an adult makes me uncomfortable. The milk mustache makes me uncomfortable. It's like, what are we doing here? Okay? A warmed up glass of milk as an adult? I'm sorry. Are you 5 years old and did you have a nightmare? What's happening? Milk isn't even that good. People who love to drink a glass of whole milk, something bad happened to them and they're trying to make up for it by escaping via lactose. A milk riff. You guys are welcome. You didn't think that I was going to get into milk this episode probably, but I surprise people every day and all the time. I even surprise myself. All right, I have more things to talk about. Let me get my paper. If you can't tell, I'm exhausted. Also, please check out my nails. Yes, dice. A dice design for Vegas. Isn't that fun? And also on this hand, I got these things. I got a spade and a heart on my thumb and my index finger. Because one thing about me is that I'm a festive queen. I'm stretching. I don't know if you guys could see my shirt, but yes, that is Ozzy Osbourne and the great Randy Rhoads. I thrifted this shirt. It's my favorite thing I've ever bought. All right, I'm going to go back. Oh, another highlight of Skankfest for me was the massage that I got in the green room. So here's the thing. I'm not someone who really loves getting a massage in public, especially not in a green room when you're surrounded by other exhausted talent. It's like kind of embarrassing. And they didn't have a curtain up, so I was just on display on the floor of the green room having them rub out my calves. And that was a highlight for me. So thanks to the Skankfest people who booked Skankfest. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Christine. The masseuses were amazing. The festival was the best time of my life. I hope to eventually get my voice back. But if not, I do enjoy sounding like Lindsay Lohan. I sound sexier this way. I sound more slutty. I sound like I'm a more interesting person when my voice is a little gravelly. I'm like, this bitch has stories to tell. Shank from last week, less graggly, I don't know if that's the word. Less groggily. My voice was clearer last week is what I'm fucking saying. This week, I left my voice in Vegas, Skankfest, but I like to call it SHENKFEST. All right, moving on. Someone asked me what's the worst breakup I've ever been in and how did I handle it? I mean, I truly believe that every breakup is the worst breakup I've ever been in. Some do hurt more than others, depending on the level of connection you have and the time of the relationship. But okay, I've gone through a lot of breakups. I was in a 5-year relationship, and that breakup was probably the hardest because after 5 years, that almost feels like a divorce more so than just a breakup, especially if you think that you're going to be with someone and then things happen and shit changes. So for me, the best way to handle a breakup is there's a list. 1, therapy. Just talking to someone who's not your friend, someone who's removed from the situation, someone who doesn't know your ex, someone who specializes in giving advice to people or being there to listen to people and can help you identify why you're upset and where the pain is coming from. That's been really powerful for me, but it's really all about finding the right therapist, because if you don't connect with your therapist, you're not going to be able to tell them everything you need to tell them, and it needs to feel as though it's a safe space. I'm a really big advocate of therapy and mental health care. So first, always, if you're going through a breakup, therapist, even if it's just a few sessions to get you over the hump. If you're crying all the time and you're sick and you can't get out of bed, therapy. There's even BetterHelp. They're not even a sponsor. I'm just plugging them because I know that they have adjustable rates. So if you're someone who's low income and you're like, I can't afford therapy, that's not an excuse. If you're having a hard time, you need therapy and it will change your life. And it's always great to talk to your friends, but you don't want to exhaust your friends. You don't want to be a burden to them. And but your friends are your friends, so they're there. But in addition to speaking with friends, it's important to speak with someone who specializes in therapy. Another thing that I do after breakup is I take a break from the dating apps because those are dark. If you get into the dating apps too soon, they'll make you feel more alone because you'll be like, hi, all the people on here are freaks, or I messaged them and they didn't message me back. And if you're already feeling like low or insecure about yourself, give it time, give it a month. After a month, I think it's fine to start slowly dipping your toe back into the dating pool. Okay, what else do I have? Exercise. Exercise is also something that I'm a huge advocate of. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through breakups and just going on a hike, I've come back a completely different person. So 30 minutes of exercise a day, that'll help with your mental health. That'll help deal with the pain of a breakup. It'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel ready to start dating again. It's good to just take care of yourself. So self-care, therapy, exercise, friends, maybe take a break from drinking. If you're someone who makes bad mistakes when they drink, that might make you text an ex that you're not trying to connect with anymore. I also recommend not talking to the person for 30 to 60 days, just so you can kind of find out where you are by yourself as an individual. I hope this advice is good, but this is just from my experience. So also self-care. Self-care is a term that gets thrown around a little too much these days. I'm tired of people taking care of themselves. No, I'm just kidding. But taking care of yourself is important. Like sometimes a bath after a long day and an early bedtime will change the rest of your week. It's about asking yourself what you need. If you're too tired to do something, take the night off. If you're too sad to do something that makes you happy. It doesn't need to be expensive. It could be an ice cream. It could be a walk in the park. It could be going to a cool museum. It could be taking a drive, listening to your favorite music. It could be smoking a fat blunt and stretching. I don't know. These are just, this is just me spitballing here, but, yeah, that's what I do after a breakup, and that's what I recommend doing after a breakup. Let's see what else. Skankfest. Okay, someone asked me this, and I thought this was a pretty good question. If I see the Rolling Stones at dinner and they ask me, first of all, they said if I see the Rolling Stones at Denny's. Let's just be honest, the Rolling Stones aren't eating at Denny's. They're just not. They're too good for Denny's. Denny's, if you want to sponsor the podcast, I take it back. Never mind. Okay, so if I see the Rolling Stones in Denny's, I'm sitting down with the Rolling Stones, especially if they invite me over. I'm just asking them how their craziest tour stories, because we got to know what's up with that. I'm asking Mick Jagger where he buys his clothes. I'm going to pound Keith Richards with my fist like this, not sex, because I don't want to get an STD. I'm going to just like sit down and absorb all of their magical energy, see what they order from Denny's. I'm guessing they go bacon and eggs. I might even see Mick Jagger eat a short stack. And if Mick Jagger eats a short stack and I get to witness it, that would be a high in my life. I'm going to ask them where they got the inspiration for their songs. Some of my favorite songs include Wild Horses, Beast of Burden, Satisfaction, all of the hits, including Mama's Little Helper. Yeah, so those things, those questions, asking them about how they deal with all the different personalities in the band, what it's like touring with each other, how do they stay sane during tour, how do they take care of themselves during tour. So these are some of all of the questions I'd ask them. And then I'd also be like, hey, guys, you want to split some French toast on me? And they'd probably say yes. And then I'd eat French toast with the Rolling Stones. And then I'd walk out and I'd say, enjoy your evening, fellas. I'd have a cup of coffee first. I don't know if I'd call them fellas or boys. Enjoy your evening, boys. And then I'd pound them, walk out. Maybe I'd hit the claw machine inside the Denny's on the way out because I need a stuffed animal to remember my experience with Mick Jagger and Keith. I don't know. So just spitballing here. These are just ideas of how I might act if I got to meet the Rolling Stones up close and personal at my local Denny's. Okay, back to the list. Yeah, food pushers are the worst. But if I sat down with the Rolling Stones at Denny's, I'd push all my food onto them in a cool, casual, hot, nice way. Food. Okay. I will say this, and I'm not proud to say this, but my podcast is an honest place. I tell you guys things that I don't tell everybody because you guys tune in every week and I want to give you what you want, and that is unlimited shank, and that's me, baby. So yeah. What was I going to say? Hold on. Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you guys this. As a kid, I was put on a leash at Disneyland. Yes, I was put on a leash at the happiest place on earth because one thing about me is that I get easily distracted. I saw some bright lights. I just stopped and started staring at them at Disneyland. I got separated from my family, and then for the remainder of the trip, they put your girl on a leash, a hot pink leash. So, and I feel like that really affected me. Sorry, Mom and Dad. You shouldn't have put me on a leash at Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. No, I get it though. If I had a kid that would get easily distracted, I'd put that kid on a leash as well. So yes, I was on a leash at the happiest place on earth. One thing about me is that I still am like that. I still get distracted. On the way home from Skankfest, when we were walking back to the hotel in downtown Vegas area, I stopped because I saw some bright lights and everyone was like, Shank, what the fuck are you doing? You have to stay with us. You can't just stop because you saw some bright lights. So I guess I'm still the same person. What I'm saying is don't put your kid on a leash unless they're a danger to society or themselves. Then in which case, put them on a leash the way my parents put me on a leash. All right, let's see what else there is. Sorry. Okay, we're going to cover a few more things and then I'm going to wrap this party up because I am exhausted from Skankfest. Leash kid, food pushers. Talked about that. Oh, I'll tell you about how I got lost in Vegas. I took a walk. I meant to go one place. I ended up at another place at the wrong hotel. And when I got to the wrong hotel, I got distracted because there was like this, I think it was the Cosmopolitan Hotel. They had like all these naked girls dancing behind glass. And it was so scary looking. It looked alien like you'd look up and there'd just be like this see-through kind of tower, and you can see like hands against the glass. I'll see if I could put a video of that in as well. But guys, this is a Skankfest recap. This is a Shank solo. I wanted to check in with you guys. I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming to Skankfest, for supporting live comedy, for taking pictures with me, for buying tickets to my shows, for doing all of that. I couldn't do this without all of your support, and I'm here to say thank you. I appreciate you. You guys made the festival so much fun. And all fans of comedy, if you get a chance, I strongly recommend coming to Skankfest. It's the best festival in the world. I look forward to it every year. It's the only festival I go to. So yes, look out for an announcement about next year's Skankfest. Make sure to check out my podcast with Kim Congdon. New episodes of that come out every Monday at This Bitch. That's This Bitch, BTCH. Again, I will be at the Nightcap in Burbank this weekend, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Following that, I will be at the Hollywood Improv for a roast battle that I'm judging. And you can always find me at Princess Shank on Instagram and Twitter. Just reach out if you have questions you want me to answer in my solo podcast, or if you have guest recommendations. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you guys so much. If you're enjoying this podcast, please head over to ohyeah.com. Buy yourself a pair of socks. It's a cheap, fun way to support your favorite podcast. If you're an official Shanksta, I want to see you in Oh Yeah socks. Oh yeah. 3 O's HYEAH.com. Discount code Sara, SARA 10. And then again, you can find me every Monday on This Bitch with Kim Congdon, and I will be coming to Texas, Austin, beginning of January. Look out for that. More dates on my Instagram at Princess Shank. I also might be coming back to New York next month. I'm not sure. I'm trying to get that all finalized, but if you're in New York, look out for dates for me coming to New York as well. Also might be coming to Canada. That might not be till next year. So if there's someplace you want me to tour, sound off in the comments on this YouTube page, or leave a review on my iTunes, my iTunes page for Shank. It's easy. It just takes 10 seconds. You just leave a quick review, tell people why you like the podcast. It helps the show grow, and we want to keep growing the show. And look out for behind the scenes footage of Skankfest on my Patreon, patreon.com/Sara, SARA Weinshenk. That's patreon.com/Sara, SARA Weinshenk, WEINSHENK. You'll get bonus footage. You get This Bitch a week early. You get thirst traps that aren't on Instagram, and you get ad-free content. Plus behind the scenes of New York trip with Kim and I, and Vegas with Kim and I. And all I can say is that I love doing stand-up. I love everyone who tunes in every week. I'm so appreciative. I'm so grateful for it. Keep sharing the show. Keep telling your friends about the show. That's how the show grows. And I loved meeting a lot of dudes at Skankfest had their girlfriends, and their girlfriends were fans of This Bitch. So if you're a dude that was at Skankfest and you have a lover, female or male, I don't judge, please share the podcast with them. Share Shank, and also share This Bitch, because that's how we continue to grow. You guys help us make the shows what they are, and we're so appreciative of you for tuning in every week, for sharing the show, for sharing the clips. All right, guys, that's our episode of Shank. If you have any more questions, or you want to find more show dates, at Princess Shank on Instagram and Twitter. And we'll see you next Wednesday for another episode of Shank. Love you, Shankstas. Bye. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, one last thing before I end this episode. We do have merch available for This Bitch. There's a link to it in the description of the This Bitch podcast. We got Honey shirts and Noise 69 shirts. So whatever you're into, there's a shirt for you. And also, please look out for personal Shank tees. Those are coming next. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you guys for tuning in every week. We'll see you next week on This Bitch on Monday and Shank on Wednesday. And if you were at Skankfest, I hope you have a good week recovering. Get your sleep. Take care of yourself. Ice those feet. I don't know about you, but my feet haven't hurt worse. Hate to be a real complainy Jewy lady about it, but one thing about me is my feet hurt. Yeah, so next week we'll be back. We'll probably have a longer episode next week. I will have had time to rest, and we will most likely have a guest, but if we don't have a guest, I'll put up questions and you guys can send out questions and I will answer them. And thank you. We'll see you next week. Follow me at Princess Shenk, Princess like normal, and then another SHENK. And make sure to hit up this podcast, subscribe on YouTube, Shenk, SHENK, and this and bitch spelled normal on iTunes, bitch spelled BTCH on YouTube. And hit up the Patreon, patreon.com/Sara Weinshenk. Goodbye, my Shanksters. I love you. We'll see you next week. Bye.